Hey guys, so I wanted to go through the notes from yesterday. So you've already gone through these, hopefully, if you did yesterday's lesson. And I just kind of wanted to go through and maybe clear up some questions. So in the notes today, we're going to be going through again how to form questions and how to express negation. So for thinking first of all about how you do this in English, how do you ask a question in English or how do you make something negative in English? Based upon your answer, some of you didn't know how to do either one of these things. Some of you know how to do one, not the other. Some of you know how to do both. So to ask a question in English, the most simplest way is to just put a question mark. Um, so instead of saying you speak English, period, you could say you speak English, question mark. Typically, when we do that, our voice goes up. That is what my grandmother used to call traditionally being a 13-year-old girl. Sorry for you 13-year-old girls. But if you know the people who always talk like this and they always go up at the end of every phrase, that's something that we typically do when we ask a question, not when we're making sentences. However, also some of you mentioned that you use the question words who, what, when, where, why, and how. That's another way. So if you just put a question mark at the end and make your voice go up, then that is a yes, no question. If you add one of the question words, that's an open-ended question. We also have the do. Do you speak English? Do you speak French? Do you study physics? Um, so the do and the question mark are the same. Those are both yes, no questions. With both of those, you could add a question word at the beginning. How do you speak French? How often do you study physics, et cetera, et cetera? To make something negative, you just use the word not to say that you don't do something. Just like that there, I used the contraction. I do not do something. Do you study French? No, I do not study French. So to make something negative in English, you just add the word not. So in French, that's what we're going to be talking about is how do you do that? We've already learned how to say that things actually happen. So now we're going to learn how to ask if they happen. Since we already know how to say they do happen, we already know how to answer those questions in the affirmative to say yes to them. But we're also going to study how to say no to them because not everything that people ask us actually happens. Just like in English, the simplest and easiest way is to put a question mark at the end and to make your voice go up. So, vous habitez à Bordeaux, you live in Bordeaux. Tu aimes le cours de français. So notice that there's kind of a double dip there. Tu aimes le cours de français. It goes up there. You can also use esque. This is similar to the English word do or does. Questions with esque are considered to be somewhat formal, and there's another way that we're going to talk about as formal also. So, est-ce que vous parlez français? Do you speak French? Notice that my voice still goes up a little bit at the end. Est-ce que vous parlez français? And français, it goes up. Est-ce qu'il aime dessiner? Again, the voice goes up. That is just something that happens when we speak, when we ask a question. Est-ce que vous parlez français? Do you speak French? Est-ce qu'il aime dessiner? Does he like to draw? Notice that all you've done is you've got right here, this right here, vous parlez français is a statement. Il aime dessiner is a statement. And to make it a question, you added in the esque. Okay, nothing else changed. You just added the esque in there. Okay, so I'm going to go through. I'm going to erase these really quickly because I think they keep showing up on the next slide, and that would be weird. Okay, so, oops, nope, moving on. Okay. Forming questions, continuing. Another way that you could do it is you could just make your statement to begin with and add a tag statement, like d'accord or n'est-ce pas. On commence à 2 heures, d'accord? We're starting at 2 o'clock, okay? And we do that in English as well. Nous mangeons à midi, n'est-ce pas? We eat at noon, don't we? So in both of those, in the first one, you're establishing and you're making sure everyone understands you. And the second one, making sure everyone agrees. Those are common things that we do in English as well. A fourth way that we're not going to spend a lot of time on, but I do want you to recognize it in case you see it. You should recognize that it's a question because there's a question mark at the end of the sentence, but just in case, I just want you to understand. Another way is to invert the order of the subject pronoun and the verb and then to put a dash in between them. So, for example, parlez-vous français? Do you speak French? You're probably very familiar with hearing that. Parlez-vous français? You just didn't realize that it was using that particular type of verb form. Parlez-vous français? That's inversion. If the end of the verb, if the verb ends in a vowel and the subject begins with a vowel, then you're going to stick this, what I joke about is the dash T dash. You're going to stick a dash T dash in there. The dash T dash doesn't mean anything. It is literally just for pronunciation purposes, because the French, as you've noticed, don't like to stick two vowels together. So you would say mange-t-il à midi, and the dash T dash is just so they don't have to have the two vowels next to each other. In this sentence, est-elle élève, because this verb ends with a consonant and the subject begins with a vowel, you don't have to worry about that dash T dash. You only have to worry about the dash T dash when when your verb ends with a vowel and your subject begins with a vowel. So then that's when you have the mange-t-il à midi. Okay, I'm going to erase these again. There we go. Okay, moving on. If the subject is a noun rather than a pronoun, you're going to stick the actual subject, and then you're going to do inversion with the subject pronoun. So, for example, le professeur parle-t-il français? Does the professor speak French? You can't use inversion with the actual noun. You can only do it with a subject pronoun. So, if you're trying to be specific about what that subject pronoun is, you would say le professeur parle-t-il français? Nina arrive-t-elle demain? Does Nina arrive tomorrow? You can't do the inversion with arrive and Nina, so you have to use the subject pronoun that represents Nina. Nina arrive-t-elle demain? The inverted form of il y a, remember that il y a means there is or there are. So the inverted form to ask are there or is there becomes y a-t-il. And then c'est, which means it is, becomes est. So, y a-t-il une horloge dans la classe? Is there a clock in the class? Est le professeur de lettres? Is he the humanities professor? And then you're going to use pourquoi to ask why. And the answer we all know, just like in English, the answer to pourquoi, the answer to why is because. So the answer to pourquoi is parce que. And parce que becomes QU apostrophe. Apostrophe before a vowel sound. So, pourquoi retrouves-tu Sophie ici? Why are you meeting Sophie here? Parce qu'elle habite près d'ici. Because she lives near here. To answer negatively, to say, nope, that's not what happens, you're going to make what is called, it's a two-part negation. So in English, we just have to use the word not. But in French, there's actually two parts. There's a ne and a pas. The ne goes before your conjugated verb and the pas goes after it. So, je ne dessine pas bien. I don't draw well. That is an absolutely 100% true statement about me. I do not draw well at all. So, je ne dessine pas bien. I don't draw well. You have the ne. Oops, let's change my color here. You have the ne before the verb and the pas after the verb. This right here, dessine, that is your conjugated verb. If you have a verb that begins with a vowel sound, like aimer, okay, notice right here, aimer begins with a vowel sound. Then the ne becomes an N apostrophe, and the pas is just pas. So Abdel n'aime pas étudier. There's your verb aime. Because it starts with a vowel, it becomes N apostrophe, just like we've seen with le and la. So if you have an infinitive, okay, remember an infinitive means that the verb still ends in the ER ending. Okay, so here we have the ER ending. We haven't taken it off. We haven't conjugated it. Then the ne pas goes around the conjugated verb and the étudier just stays as the infinitive after it. Okay, while you think about all of those, I'm going to delete this really quickly. Okay. Couple of expressions that might be used to respond to a statement or a question that requires a yes or no answer. Obviously, you have oui and non. You could say mais non, but of course not. Mais non. Bien sûr, of course, pas du tout, not at all. Moi non plus would be me neither. Toi non plus, you neither. So, for example, I could say, Je n'aime pas les maths. I don't like math. And you could say, Oh, moi non plus. Me neither. I don't like math either. And then you could also say, Peut-être, maybe, perhaps. You can also use, and this doesn't happen a ton, but it does happen sometimes. You can use sí instead of we. And I know you're all thinking to yourself, wait, sí is Spanish. No, sí happens multiple times in French. There's actually three different meanings of the word sí in French. We're going to talk about this first one right here. Use sí instead of we to contradict a negative question. So if the question was, Il ne cherche pas le sac à dos, isn't he looking for his backpack? You could say, "Sí, il cherche aussi les crayons." Yes, he's looking for the pencils too. So in that case, it can be confusing in English when we can say, "Isn't he looking for the backpack?" Yes. Well, yes, he's not looking for the backpack, or yes, he is looking for the backpack. C means yes, he is looking for the backpack, and he's also looking for the pencils. So it's yes to a no question. So I could say, Il n'aime pas la classe de français. Si, il adore la classe de français. He doesn't like French class. Yes, he loves French class. Okay, so it's yes to a no question. So in 60 seconds, this was the last thing that I asked you to do. In 60 seconds, explain how to ask a question with esca. You're just going to put esca before your sentence. So you're going to take your sentence. J'aime la classe de français. And you're going to put esca in front of it. Est-ce que j'aime la classe de français? Do I love French class? And the answer would, of course, be oui. Okay. How to answer in the negative? You take ne and you take pas, and you're going to put them around the conjugated verb. So, il n'aime pas les maths. He doesn't like math. Okay. That is about all that I had for you. So I hope now that you've gone through this, I hope that now you feel a little bit better. A lot of you yesterday, when you did these notes, indicated that you were here, which is not horrible, but hopefully now you're feeling more like you are here. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions. We're going to do some more practice with this, and I will see you later. Enjoy your Halloween. Be safe. Get lots of candy, but don't be obnoxious to people. Au revoir. Bonne journée.